In a world that often moves too fast, where headlines demand our attention and hearts grow weary from the weight of the unknown, there is one sacred practice that gently restores our perspective: gratitude. Not the kind we force on hard days or scribble down out of obligation, but the kind that flows from a soul awake to grace. The kind that opens our eyes again to the beauty we've forgotten. This is not just a mindset shift. It's a spiritual invitation. Gratitude is how we reconnect to ourselves, to others, and to God. So take a breath, slow down, and come with me on a journey of thankfulness. You may just find it leads you home. Gratitude isn't something we find once we have it all figured out. It's how we find our way while we're still in the middle of it all. It's not waiting on perfection or peace to arrive. Gratitude meets us in the mess, in the questions, in the in-between. Sometimes we think thankfulness only belongs in moments of breakthrough, but often it's the smallest, most ordinary moments that carry the greatest grace. A sunrise after a long night, a kind word from a stranger, the quiet strength that helps us get up and try again. These moments whisper, "You are not alone." And that whisper, that knowing, begins to anchor us in something deeper than circumstance. Because thankfulness is not denial. It doesn't ignore pain or pretend everything is okay. But it opens the heart to see that even here, even now, there is beauty. There is hope. There is God. When we give thanks in all things, we do acknowledge that even in the hard, God is present. Even in the loss, love remains. Even when nothing makes sense, grace is still holding us together. The more we notice, the more we receive. The more we receive, the more we can give. Gratitude softens the places hardened by fear and brings light into corners long left in shadow. And in that light, we see with new eyes. What we once took for granted becomes sacred. A meal shared, a moment of laughter, the fact that we made it through another day. The more we practice gratitude, the more we recognize that we are not the source, we are the recipients. Everything is gift. Every breath, a miracle. Every step, grace. This posture of thankfulness begins to change our relationships too. We stop expecting people to fill what only God can. We begin to appreciate others not for what they give us, but simply for who they are. We become slower to judge and quicker to bless. Gratitude makes room for connection. It reminds us that we belong to each other, that we're all walking through something, and that kindness, even when small, is never wasted. In gratitude, comparison begins to fade. We stop measuring our worth against others' highlights. We start living into the fullness of our own story, however unfinished it may feel. Thankfulness gives us courage to keep going, even when the road is hard, not because everything is easy, but because we've remembered what matters. Ultimately, gratitude leads us back to God, not just as a giver of blessings, but as the blessing himself. When we give thanks, we realign our hearts. We return to center, and in that return, we rediscover joy. Not the kind rooted in things going our way, but the deep, soul-settling kind that remains even in the storm. Scripture tells us again and again, give thanks, not because God needs our praise to feel important, but because we need gratitude to stay grounded. It's how we resist despair. It's how we remember that love still wins. Gratitude is a form of worship. Every thank you is a sacred echo, a response to the heartbeat of heaven. When Jesus lifted the bread at the Last Supper, he gave thanks, knowing the cross was near. That moment wasn't about comfort. It was about surrender, about trust, about choosing to see the Father's hand even in the darkest hour. That's what gratitude does. It doesn't just change how we feel, it changes how we live. We become more open, more patient, more compassionate. We stop rushing past moments that matter. We begin to notice, and in noticing, we begin to truly live. So maybe today you don't need more answers. Maybe you just need to remember to pause, to breathe, to look around and whisper, "Thank you." Gratitude won't erase the hard things, but it will give you strength to carry them differently, with grace, with hope, with God. You are not alone. You never have been. Every step He's been there. Every tear He's seen. Every joy He's celebrated. And right now, in this very moment, He is near. May your heart be light. May your eyes be open. May your soul remember that even here, even now, there is so much to give thanks for. And may gratitude lead you deeper into the peace that only God can give.